Hi, my name's Leah, and today I'm going to show you how to make a straight, perfect cut every time using a circular saw or a jigsaw. Doesn't matter which saw you use, so let's get started. Okay, so let me tell you about the tools you're going to need. You're going to need a circular saw. I have a carpenter's pencil, but any pencil will do. We have a tape measure. We have what's called a speed square. If you go to the tool section of the website, it'll tell you all about speed squares, what they're used for, and how to operate one. Next, we have a series of clamps. Now, depending upon what you're going to cut, and that's why I've laid out 3 different types of clamps. You may not use the smaller wood clamp. You may have to go with something larger. Or you may want to just use what's called a C-clamp. It really all depends on the project. And these, your safety glasses, because there's nothing more important than protecting your eyes. Now next you're going to need a solid surface, solid and stable, something to clamp your project to, because you don't want the wood to shift on you if you're using any kind of power tool. So a banister, or a sawhorse, a workbench, anything that is secure. So this is the piece of wood we want to cut. And it's probably about, I would say about 2.5 feet long. So it's very hard to make a perfect straight cut using a circular saw for that great of a span. So how do we do that? How do we make certain that that cut is perfect? Well, that's what this video is about. Let's say that you want to cut, we're going to cut 2 inches off. We're going to cut a piece of wood 2 inches by 2.5 feet. Okay, so let me show you how to set up the cut. I'm going to take a speed square. Come on in close. And what we'll do is, right here it says 2 inches. We know that we want to cut a piece of wood 2 inches by 2.5 feet. So we're going to make our mark right here. So that's our first mark. So let me just quickly show you something about this speed square. There's a little lip here. And so when you lay down the speed square, you lay it flush up against the edge of the wood. Okay, we're going to go to the other end, and now we're going to do the same thing. There's our mark. So now I'm going to have to make some adjustments to the circular saw. If you have any questions about the operation of a circular saw, just refer to the tool section on the website for additional information. Now, before you make any adjustments on the saw or any power tool, make certain you unplug it first. So first we're going to flip the saw over. Come on in close, let me show you this. The back side of the saw is called the shoe. This is your shoe. Okay, so I'm going to pull back the guard on the circular saw, and I'm going to take a tape measure, and I'm going to place that tape measure right against the blade, the outside of the blade. And from the outside of the blade to the end of the shoe, it measures 1.25 inches. I'm going to place the speed square on our wood, on the wood that we're going to cut. And what we're going to do is we're going to measure 1.25 inches from this mark. So let's go to 3. That's 1 inch. 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. And we're going to make our mark. And we're going to do the same thing at the other end. So you're going to need a piece of scrap wood. There are only 2 requirements for this piece of scrap. And that is that it's got to be straight. It's got to have a straight edge. And then the second requirement is it's got to be longer, or at least the same length as the piece of wood you're going to cut. Come on, let me show you how. Okay, next we're going to take a clamp, and we're going to clamp the guide onto the piece of wood that we're cutting. And we're placing that guide at the 3.25 inch mark. So there we go. We're lining up on that line. We're taking our clamp, And it's tight. I'm going to repeat the same process down at the other end. So I'm securing the clamp down at the other end. And I've done that. It's nice and secure. Now we're ready to cut the wood. Now let me bring something to your attention here. How this works is the shoe of the saw is going to ride our guide. And that's what creates the straight cut. Now let me plug it in. Now we're going to make the cut. And so as you can see, it's a 2-inch cut. So what do we have? We have a consistent, perfect 2-inch cut from the top all the way to the bottom. And that's what you want. So folks, this is what I have to say to you. You can make a perfect cut every time if you use this technique. And this is Leah saying, you can do this.